Hello everyone. Today we'll go through how we publish data using a REST API from a demand plan. So this is a demand plan. This is the table that we want to publish. So generally, if we have to publish manually, you go to actions, click on publish data, select the table, and then uh, select the source system, right? But if you have to automate this process, like if you want to publish set of tables every day, then you wouldn't want to do it manually. You want to automate it, right? So we'll go through that process today. Uh, so this is going to be a sequence of steps which will be automated. Before we go in there, let's go to the SOAP API which is used to submit the published plan ESS job. So it has set of parameters. One is a plan ID, plan from which you want to publish the data, table, the specific table that you want to publish. Instance ID is basically your source system, which could be your OPS or any other external system. Then plan name, table name from which user you want to publish. Execution ID, this is key and this is a unique value that you need to pass. I'll tell you how you can get this ID. And these are some constants. And the last one is true, which is important. So this when set to true will append your request ID. The ESS job request ID at the end of your file name so that it is easy for you to identify and download. Right? So the steps would be first get that unique ID, submit the published plan ESS job, wait for the ESS job to complete, then get the document ID based on the file name, then download the document using the document ID, and lastly unzip the file to get your CSV output. Right. So let's go to the code. So this is start, and we're trying to get the required information from a JSON, but you can always hard code it right here. I'm just trying to get it from a JSON so that I don't have to change up anything in the code. Right. I'll show you the JSON. So here we have basically your base URL, your pod name, username, password, folder path. So this is the data model that I created to fetch the execution ID, and plan name. What is a plan ID? What is the source system ID? Table name, table ID, and CSV name if you want to rename it to a different name. And I can give you the queries for this one. The plan execution ID, that query behind the data model is this. It's a simple one. It always gets the latest sequence ID plus one so that you can use it. And if you need to get the plan ID, you can just pass the plan name here to get the plan ID for this table from this table. And if you need the table ID, you can search in this table. You pass the table name and then get the table ID. And if a source instance, you can use this table because all these are constants, right? You don't have to change every day. So you get it one time and then keep it in your config so that you don't only thing that changes every run is the execution ID. So we are getting it from a data model. So this one, is for a specific table, and if you have a set of tables, you can just use a list and then iterate the entire process for each table in the list, right? So I'll go to the code. So we're getting all the required fields, and then first thing is we're doing is the getting the execution ID. So this one is basically there's a SOAP API which is used to get the results from a data model. So to that we are passing the path, right? I can quickly show you that. So get execution ID. So this is the SOAP API name, run data model, for which we are passing the path, and then we are just downloading it and extracting the data. And once we have the execution ID, We are submitting the published plan using all the required parameters, including the execution ID, and then we get the request ID. So once the request ID is there, we have to wait for it to complete, right? So there's another SOAP API which tells us the status of an ESS job. So for every 30 seconds, basically we are going and checking whether it is completed or not, completed successfully with error or warning. If it is neither of these three, then it must be waiting and or it's still running, right? So we wait for it to complete. Once it is completed, so this is going to be the plan name, sorry, zip file name. It is plan name underscore table name underscore the request ID. And once we have this name, there's another SOAP API which will give us the ID of the document if we pass the document name. So we are passing this zip file name here and getting the doc ID. And there is another SOAP API which will basically download your document, right? Your doc based on your doc ID. And finally we'll unzip it. So I have my files here, my Python file and then the config file. I'll just quickly give a hit. So it started and it's trying to get the execution ID. So it got the execution ID, which is this one ending with 4733, and it submitted the ESS job. This is the ESS job request ID, and it's currently in wait status. So after 30 seconds, it is going to check again, and if it's still running, then it will wait for another 30 seconds, or it will proceed for the next step. So let's wait and see. So it's checked again and it's still in post. So basically the published plan has a child request called published plan data. So the child request must be running. So since that's why the parent ESA job is still in post status. So it will check again in 30 seconds. I mean, you can change the frequency if you want, increase or decrease the frequency. So it's completed successfully, and this is a zip file name and got the document ID. It downloaded the zip file and unzipped it. So let's go to the folder. So this is your zip file and this is the CSV file inside that, and this is your data finally. So similarly you can just add your table more. If you have more than one table you want to publish, you can create a list and then iterate through the list, and you can download all the files at once. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'll try to respond. Thank you.